Well, it goes like this. A long, long time ago, on the night when Jesus was born, there was a little mouse called Michael. Now, I hope you're not afraid of little mice, because this was a very friendly one. He had big ears and a long tail, tiny little eyes, and a red woolly jacket to keep out the cold. He was sleeping in a little hole just above a stream, thinking nice thoughts and making nice noises. Suddenly, he was wakened by a strange noise. He looked up into the sky and saw that it was bright, bright as day, though it was the middle of the night. And then he heard... Michael thought he would like to find out what the singing was all about, so he scampered along to see a good friend of his, an owl who lived up a tree and had a good view of everything that went on.
To-wit-to-woo, to-wit-to-woo.
What is all the noise about?
Asked Michael, and the owl replied,
Oh, there's a great commotion, all because a little baby has been born in the village of Bethlehem. Everybody's going to see him, so it seems.
Bethlehem, that's miles away. Do you think it's worth me going too?
Oh, I'm sure you would find it a memorable experience. To-wit-to-woo, to-wit-to-woo.
So off went Michael. There weren't any buses or trains in these days, so he had to swim across 2 rivers and climb hills all on his own. There was a long way to go. At last, he arrived and stood in the yard just next to the stable where Jesus was born. He was quite exhausted, and his little red jacket was all dirty, so he licked himself clean as best he could. After all, he wanted the little baby to see him at his best. While he was cleaning himself, along came...
Ba, ba, ba.
Along came some sheep.
Hello, Miss You.
Michael said to one of the mother sheep.
Where are you going?
I am going to see the baby.
Can I come with you?
Asked Michael, thinking he'd get a good view if he stood on the sheep's shoulders.
Have you got a present?
No.
Answered Michael, for he didn't think of bringing a present.
Then you can't come with me.
What kind of present do you got, Miss You?
I've got some wool to keep the baby warm. Ba, ba, ba.
And into the stable walked Mrs. Yu and her friends. As they left, Michael heard another sound.
Moo, moo, moo.
Well, hello, Miss Miss Cow. How are you, Do? And where are you off to?
Moo, moo. I'm not off anywhere. I'm here to see the little baby.
Would you give me a little ride on your back so that I can see him too?
Moo, moo. Do you have a present?
No.
Then you cannot come too.
What kind of present have you got, Miss Cow?
I've got some milk in case the little baby gets thirsty. Moo, moo.
So Mrs. Cow moo-mooed her way into the stable. Michael was quite sad. He could not get in, and he was especially sad when he heard how the people inside were enjoying themselves. himself when he heard another visitor.
Cluck, cluck, cock-a-coodle, cluck, cluck.
Well, hello, Hen.
Mrs. Hen to you, son, if you don't mind.
Okay, don't get your feathers ruffled. I'm surprised to see you here all the same.
Cluck, cluck. No surprise at all. This isn't the first maternity ward I've visited. I like to see babies just as much as anyone else. Cluck, cluck.
That's why I'm here. Just in case you're wondering, what are the chances of us going in together? You see, I don't know anybody.
Have you a present for the little baby?
No, I don't.
Well, you can't come with me. At least I've brought some eggs with me. That's my gift to the child.
But I don't see any eggs.
That's because I haven't laid them yet. Cluck, cluck.
And away she clucked into the stable. Michael got sadder and sadder. He was determined to get in, but he didn't know how. So he thought he'd walk around for a bit, and eventually he found himself right outside the stable door. He looked up, and you'll never guess what was staring him in the face.
Meow. Meow.
It was a big cat.
Meow.
It was a big black tomcat with smelly breath. It had been eating a tin of sardines and it hadn't cleaned its teeth. It breathed right into Michael's face.
Just what are you up to?
I'm just here to see the little baby, honest.
You're just here to see the little baby, eh? Have you got a present for the little baby?
No, I haven't.
Well, you're not getting in.
But what about you? You don't have a present for the little baby. What are you doing in the stable?
I'm employed to keep hoodlums like you far, far away. Take this.
And at that, the cat went to hit Michael with his big black paw. But Michael scampered and ran to the side of the stable where he puffed and puffed, breathless with fear and excitement. While he was puffing and panting, he saw some other visitors to the stable. Not hens or sheep or cows, but other ones. You know who. So there was Michael. He'd run all the way. He'd got his clothes dirty. He'd talked to visitors going in. He'd heard the singing inside. He'd been threatened by a maladjusted tomcat, and he couldn't get in. Michael was sad. He was very, very sad, and he began to cry. A big tear dribbled down to the end of his little nose and onto his red jacket. He was so sad. I don't know what it was, but something made him look up. He looked up to the stable wall, and though it was very dark, he saw a circle of light about the size of a dime. It was a small hole, and Michael wondered if he could maybe climb up to it. It was very high, and as he climbed higher and higher, the wind got louder and louder. It was blowing hard by the time he reached the hole. First, he squeezed his head in. Then he squeezed his body in. And then he went head first into the hole and stuck his bottom in it and let his tail dangle down outside. It took him a little while to get used to the light because it was quite bright in the stable, but as soon as his eyes were all right, the first thing he noticed was that Mary, the baby's mother, was looking over at him. She gave him a big wink. Then she got Joseph, the little baby's father, to look over at Michael, and he gave him a big wink. And then he said ever so gently,
Thanks,
"Thanks,
little man."
That puzzled Michael. Why should Joseph thank him? And then he realized what he had done. You see, that hole in the wall was too high for Joseph to reach up and plug it. And he and Mary were worried in case Jesus would feel the draft and catch a cold. Of course, The moment Michael stuck his bottom in the hole, the draft stopped. Mary didn't have to worry any longer. So in Michael's honor, she sang a lullaby. To keep the baby warm. Oh, Michael was really thrilled, and he felt especially pleased now that he had a bird's eye view, though it was really a mouse eye view. He could see everything. He saw the sheep giving their wool to keep the little baby warm.
Ba, ba, ba.
He saw the cow giving her milk to the baby when he was thirsty.
Moo, moo.
Then he saw the hen laying her eggs, and since she wasn't sure whether it was right to give eggs to such a small baby, she gave them to Mary instead.
Cluck, cluck.
And he saw the shepherds and the wise men give their presents, and everybody looked so happy, even the big black tomcat with the smelly breath.
Meow. Meow.
Michael stayed in the hole in the wall all night until the morning came. Then, when the wind had stopped howling, and without any fuss, he climbed down the outside wall and headed for home. By the time he got back to the stream where he lived, he was very tired. But his friend was there waiting to greet him.
To-wit-to-woo. I've heard all about it, you know. I've spoken to the sheep. I've had a word with the cow. I listened for ages to one of those hens. They told me all about it, and they told me how you didn't get in to see the baby because you didn't have a present for him.
Oh, yes, I did see the baby.
But I thought you didn't have a present. What did you give him?
I gave him me for as long as he needed me.
Then Michael turned and disappeared into his little hole at the side of the stream. And that is where the story ends, with Michael's words, "I gave him me for as long as he needed me." And there's no better gift to give Jesus today or any day. The end.